What's happening, guys? So we're back. So today I'm gonna go through the basics of nutrition, something I go through in my foundation classes. But I'm gonna make it as brief as possible because it normally takes about 30 minutes to go over this. First of all, guys, I go through paleo zone diets. Paleo, eating meat, veg, nuts, seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar. If you don't want to count calories and you don't want to weigh your food, these guidelines are great if you want to get the results you want, looking good or performance. Because you've got all the natural food, seeds, nuts, veg, and meat. You can eat as much as you want as that. Some fruit, maybe 2 or 3 pieces of fruit, little starch. Starch is pasta, rice, but an in-between is potatoes. Potatoes is also a veg, so I personally would say you can have more potatoes than rice or veg because it is more of a natural food. No sugar. No sugar in your coffee, no caramel syrup in your lattes. I love caramel syrup in my latte. But none of that crap. Reason why? It's not a natural food. Go around the supermarket, anything that can be grown, anything that's like a natural animal or was an animal or came from an animal, you can eat as much of. Shawarma and burgers is not fucking meat, okay? It's cooked in oil, it's covered in crap. We love it and I eat it, but it's not something you can have. This paleo diet is awesome for people that doesn't want to really measure a lot of food, doesn't have to worry about weighing food, counting calories, and worry about the numbers game. That is if you don't want to put a lot of effort into it. Zone is very similar. I'll be honest with you, with Zone, I don't know the exact numbers, but what happens is, in each block, you're given a certain amount of blocks for how much you weigh and how much you want to weigh. It's all done on body size. So, it gives you a block of fat, carbs, and protein. Then you're given a certain amount of blocks per meal that you can have. I think this is very restricting personally, just because it may vary day to day when you train, what you're doing, how active you are. So it's not really done by that. But it's still very good, building on from paleo to zone. But if you're gonna do zone, I would definitely think about the next thing that we're gonna talk about. We wanna make sure, if you wanna gain weight or lose weight, look good or perform well, the first thing we need to make sure we're doing is making sure our calories are right. This is the bottom of the nutrition pyramid. There's a lot more on there, but these are the 4 things that I'm gonna talk about today. Bottom is calories, making sure it is as good as it can be. An average male, 2,500 calories if you work out at moderate intensity 3 times a week. For the guys that are watching the video, you probably do CrossFit or high intensity training or are interested in it. So this should definitely be higher because you're working out at a higher intensity. For you women, that's probably more around 2,000 to 2,200. Reason why? If you want to lose weight, yes, your calories should be less than the average because you want to lose weight, but you need to make sure it's not too much. If you are trying to do that, maybe 200 or 300 calories less is perfect. If you go below 2,000 calories for a male and 1,600 for a female, for an example, you are going to lose weight dramatically in the first month. And you'll be like, fucking sick, I'm going to look so good, my body's going to look good, and then you're not going to see results for a long time because your body is in starvation mode. I use this example all the time with the guys that come in. If you guys know who David Blaine is, the guy that sat in a seafood box for 2 weeks, didn't do anything, and just drank water, no food for 2 weeks. He decreased his heart rate so low, don't know how the fuck he did it, decreased his heart rate so low so he wasn't using a lot of energy. His body was in starvation mode and his body could actually use the energy that his body naturally has for 2 weeks. This is what your body's doing. It goes into starvation mode. So all the calories you're eating get stored in the body because it's like, shit, we're gonna die, we need this. I'll be honest, your body doesn't give a fuck if you've got a 6-pack, got a nice chest, good biceps. It doesn't care how you're gonna look on the beach. It just wants to survive. So that is why you can't have your calories too low because that's what's gonna happen. You'll be in that survival mode. Next we're gonna talk about is macros, macronutrients. I want you guys to guess, before fast forwarding this, take a guess of what amount of carbs, fat, and protein, percentage-wise, you should have in your diet. So out of 100%, what percentage do you think is gonna be of each? Give you guys a few seconds to think about it before I write it up. Using the app, MyFitnessPal, which is a very good way to track your food, I'll go for that in a second, it says 50% carbs, 30% fat, and 20% protein. I don't mind if you do this, 25%. Reason why is because obviously I know people love their protein, blah, 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 it helps us recover. I'll go for that in a second. MyFitnessPal though, you track your food, you weigh it, you can scan the barcode, and it will show you exactly the amount of calories, carbs, fats, and protein you need in your diet. If you're trying to lose weight or gain weight, you put in your body weight, what weight you want to be, and how much you want to lose during a certain time frame, and it will calculate for you. I had a guy in here the other day who was a little bit overweight, not a problem. He said he had to eat 2,600 calories for his body weight. And he was shocked. I was like, yes, you need to eat more to lose more because your body's storing everything into fat into the body because it thinks it needs to survive. Let me talk about that a second. Carbs, fats, and protein. What does this do in the body? First of all, protein. Protein helps us recover. You probably think, oh, more protein, I can recover faster. Protein gives me more muscles. No. Imagine the body can only go so fast. Just because you put more into it doesn't mean you're going to recover faster. If you put more petrol in a car, does that mean you can go faster? No, it's only going to be the max speed it can possibly go. So it doesn't matter how good the petrol is, it's just going to last longer. So as a result, it's just going to be wasted energy. I think that was a good example. Was that a good example? Fitness?
Yeah.
Good. Fitness behind the camera. Witness the fitness! So that's what protein does. It helps us recover. They can only recover so fast. Fat and carbs. This is energy. Carbs and fat are energy, but they're different types of energy. Oh, one sec, my hair's back. So, carbs and fat are different types of energy. Carbs, the reason we need more of it is because the style of energy it gives us, and fat is lower. Carbs are faster energy and it's known as glucose, which is broken down in the body. So if you have sweets or something sugary, this is actually fast glucose that's coming into our blood to give us quick energy. Any sort of carbs such as pasta, oatmeal, fruits, that's going to get into our system a lot quicker. Fat is slow energy. Nuts and seeds, they're slow releasing, which means that it's going to take a lot longer for the energy to get into our muscles. This is known as glycogen. What we're going to go through now quickly is keto. The keto diet is actually 75% fat and 5% carbs, 25% protein. It's a good diet for the style of training you're doing. If you're a weightlifter or a bodybuilder, I think this is really good because you're actually working at a lower intensity, which means your fat levels is going to be a lot easier to use as energy with the keto diet because you're not working at high intensity all the time and your body only needs that release of energy over a slow period of time. So any other high intensity training, you need carbs because if you're working at a high intensity and your muscles need that quick energy as soon as your heart starts pumping, we need that carbohydrate or the energy we're going to use to hit the muscles as fast as possible, which is why I suggest 50% carbs. And the keto diet probably isn't going to work as well for high intensity training because the energy is not going to be released in the body as quick. Next you need to think about is timing of food, when you should be eating before training, after training. I'll be honest, I'm not going to talk about that in a lot of detail. Just quickly, make sure if you're going to have a meal 2 hours before, if you're going to have oatmeal or fruit, an hour's good, depending on the style of training. If it's high intensity or CrossFit, what we do, it's not a huge problem. Just have some oatmeal an hour before or some fruit, it will be digested a lot quicker. Whereas if you're going to have a heavy meal, definitely 2 to 3 hours before. And then after training, making sure we're having another meal to recuperate our energy. So after training, we have a lot of protein shakes and BCAAs during, but really we should be thinking about carbs. Like we said, 50% of our food is carbohydrates. We've used a shit ton of energy, which means we need that energy back. So making sure we get those carbohydrates back in our diet. So you can have carbohydrate supplements later on, but try and have a good meal. Last thing I'm going to talk about is supplements, okay? One supplement I would say that you can probably take no matter what, before anything else, is probably multivitamins, just because we're not getting enough in our diet, and maybe omegas and fish oils, because I know some of us don't have fish on a daily basis. But I want to make sure our calories, macros, and timing is perfect before supplements. I took out supplements out of my diet for about 3-4 months before my calories and macros were on point. Then I added supplements back in as a benefit. I'll be honest, having a protein shake, BCAAs, fucking carbs, whatever you want to fucking take, shit ton of supplements, is not going to make a difference if your calories and your macros are not on point. Because this probably equates for about 75%. These two is about 75% of the benefits of nutrition, whereas supplements are probably only going to be about 5 to 10. And I know it's a quick fix, 5 to 10, oh easy, I'll just take a protein shake. Whereas if you sort this out, 75% is a lot better over the long haul. I personally would not take protein shakes, BCAAs until later on. I know this is very quick, I was talking fast. This normally takes about 30 minutes for me to go over, so I was trying to go over it really quick. If I was talking too fast, please let me know. If you have any questions, put it in the comments, send me a message on Instagram or whatever. Guys, I just wanted to go over brief nutrition before I show you my new style of eating and my nutrition plan later on, so then you guys understand the basics of nutrition. If you have any questions, let me know. Until next time. Peace. Time!